everyone, thanks for stopping by the Standards Weekly Check-In. I'm Colin, behind the camera we got Heavy Metal Dylan.
What's up?
Today we're going to get into some staff picks, flip through some new arrivals and recently priced records, and address some viewer questions at the end of the vid. As always, if you see anything you like, you can hit the DMs on Instagram, you can give the shop a ring, or you can cruise by. We're open 11 to 8, 7 days a week normally, but if you're watching this on Tuesday, that means that it's Christmas Eve. We're going to be closing at 6. We're going to be closed at Christmas. Why are we even making this vid? Just to say hi, man. We can do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, don't question my life. Here's what we got. Dylan, tell the people what you've been listening to.
Been listening to some Thin Lizzy's Fighting. Perfect. I don't know if this is their perfect record, but it's fucking close. You know what I'm saying? Just listening to that, the best, riffing, Rosalie, all those songs on there. It's just all good. I don't know. It's just the perfect shop music, too. Especially around this time of the year where it's people are just coming in. And I usually scare the shit out of them with hardcore metal anyway. But then you play that, it's just chill.
Yeah, you gotta kind of tone it down, especially around the holidays, I think. I love Rosalie. I would say Bob Seger song, originally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess...
Is it Bob Seger?
Am I tripping?
You might be right. I don't know why I'm thinking of Miller, but maybe...
Yeah, it's Bob Seger.
Okay.
It's credited on the record. Yeah, they are that band, bro. Forever, eternally. It's my story is always, as I go back to, is looking for punk records in Escondido in the 90s, coming up with nothing. You're like, well, I guess I'll go with Thin Lizzy. Yeah. Since they don't have the records I want, I'll just suffer with this. And then, needless to say, it's pretty foundational music for me, kind of one of those bands that keeps giving. You know what I mean?
I get it.
Speaking of. This is such a big deal to me. The Judge Chungking Can Suck It reissue. It's a kind of alternate recording of what would become the Bringing It Down record. Kind of notorious because the original pressings, there was only 100 released. And I don't know, collectors are weird. So, I don't know that there's obviously no way to kind of explain. And it's almost boring. It's okay. A version of that record will be the $8,000 or whatever. Fine. Cool. The fuck does it matter? I do think that the collectability of the record maybe overshadows the value of the record's music, and I appreciate now, officially, even though it's been on the discography, it's okay, there's working man's copies out there. So I encourage everyone to get a copy of The Chunking Can Suck It. You listen to that record?
Yeah, of course, bro.
You've heard it before?
I've heard it before. It sounds good. That's the one I haven't put on a lot.
Yeah.
But I think they don't have it on Spotify, right? That's a YouTube joint.
It's on the Where It Went discography, but it's it's tricky because it's tracks 21 to 31 this record. So it's on there, but you have to listen to the whole discography. But generally speaking, when you just want to put on Bringing It Down.
Yeah.
So, but I sympathize.
Yeah, it's still good.
Yeah. Can we look through some records?
Sure.
All right. You know why I like that Chungking record so much?
Why?
I think it's a testament to having an artistic vision. Mm-hmm. When I say that, I mean the story about the record is, right, they record it, and then they're on tour in Europe, and they're listening to the tape, and the record's going forward, they got plating done, they're ready to go, and Porcell calls Jordan from Rev from over in Europe, which you can imagine, in the 80s how much that costs to do. He's like, hey man, I think we got to stop this record. We got to re-record it. Which is nuts.
Yeah.
If you're a label and you've, a small label, and someone, you're that far into the production process, and then someone's like, yeah, we're going to redo it. Mm-hmm. You'd be really sad, I think. But they were correct, because then they go and then they re-record it and becomes Bringing It Down, which is this monumental success. And sonically, I mean, I don't know, I guess I've never asked your opinion. Do you think Chunking versus Bringing It Down
in terms of sound?
Yeah,
it's Bringing It Down. It just sounds more fuller, and maybe, I don't know, maybe they weren't fully done with the mastering of Chunking, but that's the sound I hear of Judge anyways.
Yeah,
like that.
But that's what you hear because that record exists, the Bringing It Down. Recorded at Normandy Sound, same place that did Killing Time LP and the first Sick of It All album. Mm-hmm. And I think the first Leeway album. So it's like, they're listening to those records. They're like, we want that actually.
Yeah.
And then Chungking, I think Chungking, I mean, that was like a huge, studio LL Cool J recorded there famously.
Yeah.
That record is only, I think bands were only recording there because the Straight Ahead record was recorded there. And that record just sounds psychotic.
Yeah.
Like perfect,
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, we want that. But then you go there and it was like, that was, you're not going to get that.
Yeah.
That was some fluke that happened.
It's like an accident.
Yeah, so, you have the Chungking record, you have We're Not In This Alone, both recorded at this place that didn't give a shit about these bands. And I feel like they were just chasing the dragon of that Straight Ahead record. And then, it comes out on mediocre, and then you go back and then you record at the big studio, you get the big sound, and then you put out an iconic record. I think Chungking on its own is really good, though. My nuanced take now is that I think the fast hardcore songs sound better on Chungking, but the heavier songs sound better on Bringing It Down. And the song that's only on this record, Holding On, is like just a fucking masterpiece that otherwise gets lost if that record doesn't exist. So yeah, salute to Chungking, man. Very, very impressive record to me. Very important record. I'm very, very happy to have it back. Viewer questions. This is the part of the vid where we answer questions left on last week's YouTube comments. We just got one this time around. Glory Good asking the great question. Isaac Hayes, Shaft, Curtis Mayfield, Superfly. I guess we both the movies and soundtracks, pretty inseparable in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
There's no hesitation when I say Superfly, movie and soundtrack. One of the only really good soundtracks. I'm not a big soundtrack guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think my problem with most of them is that it's like either they're compilations, like, okay, cool playlist you made, Top Gun.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm just looking at music objectively and not like having my feelings about the movies mixed up with them, or I actually do listen. I've been listening to a lot of Howard Shore soundtracks. He does all the Cronenberg movies because
I know.
I'm in the Crone zone still. And it's like weird. It's like, okay, this is a cool piece, but it only goes on for 45 seconds because that's what the movie called for. It's like, I don't know. I have a difficulty with soundtracks, but a huge exception to that is Superfly, which actually does acknowledge the movie. It's not like it's an autonomous album that just tacked onto the movie. Like the lyrics coincide, and it plays like a great album. That's it. And the movie is just like, I don't know. That was an early movie, that like a 70s blaxploitation film that I saw, and it just like opened my eyes to that world and just had a huge impact on me. I don't really have much of an affinity with Shaft. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
But Superfly, nothing against Shaft. Isaac Hayes, very interesting, great musical figure, probably as equal of Mayfield. But personally, I'm a Curtis Mayfield guy.
I get you. Nothing wrong with that. I don't have much to say about this, but soundtracks, or those two soundtracks.
Yes.
More so Superfly.
Yeah.
Whenever they come in, I do listen to those two.
Right.
Try to, because sometimes they come in really rough.
Yeah, that was a beat destroyed.
I don't know why, but I do listen to Superfly, and I can tell you I remember the album more than I do the movie.
Yeah.
And I've seen both movies, but only like maybe 10 years ago.
I might have to watch Superfly now. That's my favorite Christmas movie.
Really? Superfly?
It has nothing to do with Christmas. I just kind of want to watch Superfly.
Yeah, I get you.
I like that movie. I will say though, I watched there's a great music documentary, if you guys are listening, on HBO about the Stax record label. They talk about Isaac Hayes' rise into superstardom. A huge chapter of that story is dedicated to Isaac Hayes, and I really recommend that series. It's a very, very well done. And Isaac Hayes just as a huge musical mind, and kind of how progressive his ideas were. I didn't really quite appreciate until I saw that series. So yeah, that gave me a more appreciation of Isaac Hayes, since I don't want anyone to think that I'm sneak dissing Isaac Hayes. We respect Isaac Hayes in this house.
Yeah.
Though admittedly, to your point, I don't nearly get to listen to Isaac Hayes as much, because when his records come in, they're really quiet records, and they're fucking always demolished.
Yeah.
So it's like really not. It's not, you know, you get a beater AC/DC record, fine. You know, it's loud, it's screaming, it cuts through. A scratchy Isaac Hayes record, it's like,
it's a bummer.
Yeah.
It's a really hard listen.
And you know, anyways. That's all we got for this week. Thanks for, you know, making this holiday shopping season insane. I hope we keep it going. Usually it does. People get new, you know, turntables for Christmas and everything, and they got to get they got the hardware. They need the software. We got the software. Thank you for coming in, everyone watching. We are a little bit frazzled, no doubt. We're probably coming off freaky right now. We're overworked, but it's been a blast. Thank you for everyone for coming in. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Even satellites blink a bright red and green as the shoppers rush home.
Fine. Cool.